And we are live. What is going on, good people of YouTube? It is me, Chavez, and I am back. You are back, and together we are back for another day, another live stream player prop talk here on the channel. Today is Wednesday, March 13th, 2024. As always, I hope this live stream finds you all doing well and in good spirits. We got lots to talk about today, lots to break down in today's live stream. If you're new to the channel, if you're watching this for the first time, I appreciate you being here. Hit the like button on your way in, but I'll break down what we do here and then we'll just do it, and then that's it. Injury news, we'll go over some injury news, turds of the day, what player prop sold your slip, plays of the day, which plays helped you out yesterday, and then also plays of the day in terms of who do we like for today. We'll go over your specific player prop questions in our Q&A segment, some shameless plugs and promos promoting my links and referral links that you can use, and yeah, that's it. We'll have a good time today. So appreciate everybody being here, spending a few moments of your morning with me here on the stream. Let's get this going. As we always start off with this morbid stats, over 10% of the United States does not wake up, meaning 10% of the US population dies in their sleep. If you're listening to this, if you're watching this, you're on the other side of that 10%. So congratulations, you are blessed. What you choose to do with the rest of your day is completely up to you, but at least you woke up today. A lot of people cannot say the same. So hashtag blessed indeed. We'll get into our turds of the day here in a second. What's going on, Gilbert? Good morning. Carrie, Ruben, what is going on? Jim the Judge, good morning to you. JR, what is up? Good morning. Ahoy, mates. Got the pirate talk going on. That is good, strong coffee. You know it's good when it's your third cup and it's still strong. So, oh yeah. All right. Turd of the day brought to us by this magnificent classic gif of John Witherspoon airing it out. Damian the Demon was Ruben's turd of the day. You mean Damian Lillard? We talked about his three-pointers yesterday. You took the over on Dame's points. What'd you take? Jim says only the Thomas NHL prop that he took, he got right on a four-man slip. So four-man didn't get you the profit yesterday. Turd of the day got to be Maxey. Oh, JR. Yeah, that's a good one. The real JR, the basketball and baseball coach from North Carolina. The real JR. Yeah, Damian Lillard on his assist, but no, Tyrese Maxey. That was a tough one. It looked promising there at first, right? And then they pulled in within 10 after it going into the third, or coming out of half, they got it within 10. And then it went from 10 to 20. They just skipped like every other number in between, and they were up by 20, and it was a wrap. The Knicks, you know how they roll. They roll their starters out there, whether they're up by 20 or down by 20. So Brunson was out there. Hart was still out there. Hart with a 67 fantasy point performance. You want to talk about a bounce back? Yesterday, you could have taken the over on any one of his props. He would have gotten you that probably by halftime. Meanwhile, Nick Nurse, waved the white flag pretty early on in the fourth quarter or late third quarter. Maxey did not see his fourth quarter run, nor did Kyle Lowry, which sucked. That's my turd of the day. Over 11.5 points and assists. He finished with 8. Yes, I know it's Kyle Lowry, but he also was 1 for 4 from the field, 1 for 3 from 3. So had he just made 2 more shots, he would have cleared that. Prop, no doubt. But Tyrese Halliburton was another turd. this guy he just doesn't shoot in the first quarter. If you look at his game logs, he's 0 for 0 or 0 for 1 or some weird low number like that. He likes to get his teammates involved. Miles Turner likes to eat first, and then Siakam, and then whatever's left, Halliburton's fine with taking the scrap. So it's pretty frustrating. He's just not aggressive in the first quarter. Usually first halves are not his thing. He usually gets it going in the second half, but by then you got to make up so much ground. It's almost not worth taking the over on point prop. So I might just be staying away from Halliburton moving forward. That was on me. That's my bad. My bad, y'all. Halliburton was a turd. Halliburton. Yeah, there you go. Halliburton. The Sixers, man. Yeah, the Sixers as a whole. What is up, Divine? What is going on, man? Maxey only played 22 minutes. I didn't even pay attention to the minutes he had. Maxey played 28. Oh, you talking about Halliburton? Halliburton only played 22 minutes? Who only played 22 minutes? Kyle Lowry? Somebody only played 22 minutes. Yeah, Lowry only played 21. Okay. All right. Turd talk. We got a lot of turds. Lowry, Maxey, Halliburton. I think Maxey is the unanimous winner here because of the taco promo. You know, that's always it's always difficult when the taco doesn't hit. Sells you like that. What's going on, Super? Good morning. Welcome into the stream. Welcome into the chat. All right, we got 9 viewers on. Should have 9 likes. Let's get this going, ladies and gentlemen. Done with turd talk. Let's talk about some injury news. Let's make sure we are up to speed on all that's going on in the NBA around injury news. So starting off with Jalen Suggs and Markelle Fultz. You know how difficult it is for me to not say Jalen Jugs because of the spelling of his last name and then the J in his first name. Sometimes it just rolls off like Jalen Jugs. I got to catch myself. Jalen Suggs, Markelle Fultz are in. Probable Cam Johnson. Doubtful. Jalen Johnson's doubtful. So Atlanta's front court looks a little different today because Saddiq Bey is gone for the year. I think he tore his ACL or MCL. He tore a CL. I don't know which one it was, but he's out for the rest of the year. If Jalen Johnson is doubtful, you have Clint Capella in the front court. Bruno Fernando also, but you're gonna see different. And Trae Young's also still out, so you're gonna see a different starting five, no doubt, for the Hawks. Steph Curry remains out. RJ Barrett is out. Boucher, Bryce McGowan's, Dean Wade, and Cam Reddish. Questionable. So you got some big names on a Q tag list. Donovan Mitchell headlines it. I say he headlines it because LeBron James is always on the Q list, and he usually plays. So we know what that's about. Quickly is questionable today, as is Gary Trent. Jeremy Grant, I hope he plays because I put him in my underdog slip. If you watched my underdog YouTube short earlier this morning, he was one of the players I featured. I also shared that slip in the Discord, so you can check that out. Oscar Thompson is questionable, as is Trey Mann. So keep your eyes out for all this injury news. It will change. It will definitely change throughout the day. This is just injury report number 1. And then you have your morning shoot around. And then after morning shoot around, you tend to know like pretty much what's going on for the rest of the day. And then every once in a while, you'll have those late minute scratches that really throw things off. But for the most part, injury news doesn't change too much 3-4 hours before tip off. And sometimes it will like get a last minute scratch, like what we saw on Sunday with Rudy Gobert being scratched right before tip off. All right. Let's talk plays today, ladies and gentlemen. Let's talk some NBA plays on PrizePicks, Underdog, Jock Market, Sleeper, HOTSTREAK, wherever you play. We'll be able to go over all of your player prop cues using props.cash. That's what we use to research our player props here on the stream. So it doesn't matter what pick'em site you play on. We're going with the numbers that are out there. The lines are out there. We'll dig them up on props.cash. We'll break them down on props.cash. And then you can go to whatever pick'em site you want and apply that information. Thanks25 is my promo code on props.cash. If you use that promo code, you will get 25% off your first month on props.cash. So nice little discount. I shouldn't say little. I shouldn't discredit it like that. That's a nice discount. 25% off. Nice discount. All right. Let's go over to PrizePicks. And let's talk about some player props. Starting off on PrizePicks. We'll always start on PrizePicks because it is the easiest format for me to pull up on the screen. But then from there, we can veer off to any other pick'em site you want in terms of the player props. All right. So if you're new to the stream, this is Q&A section. So take your questions in the chat. We dig them up, screenshot the plays, throw them in the Discord, and from there, you can reference those player props anytime you want throughout the day. Research has already been done for you with those player props, so you can use it as a resource, no doubt. These are some plays that I had up on the board. A few of these were in my cheat sheet, or alternate lines of these players were in my cheat sheet. But I really like these 3-point props in college basketball today. You're getting some really good odds on these 3-pointers. Jizzle James, that name is name of the year. Jizzle James, Redis Petratus, both at 0.5 3-pointers made, both projected for 1. I'll take a stab on those. Jokic assist. I liked him at 20.5 rebounds and assists today, but the assist, when the assists were added to the board and the odds were updated, this one looked really good. Luka over his 20.5 rebounds and assists. And then looking at some unders for the Warriors today. And obviously you can take any one of these plays out and put in that James Harden pie promo. And you can create a 6-pick using that, or you can create whatever you want to do with that shit. You know how to play. All right, so cheat sheets already in the Discord. Check it out. My underdog slip is already in the Discord. Check that out. I don't want to spend a ton of time talking about the plays that I like because that information is already out there. But here's just a glimpse into a few plays that I like that I have already put in slips. If you want to know who I like, just ask me in the chat and I'll let you know a player or two. But this is your time. So I want to make sure that I'm giving you that Q&A time. Pull up some player props and let's start chopping it up, cooking up some shit. Divine, I think, is the first one in the chat with a player prop question. He likes Jimmy Butler's points, Fox points, AD points, a bonus assist. Divine is always on top of his props. Let's check out Jimmy Butler's points sitting at 21. Lots of turds yesterday, Gilbert. Oh, for sure. Lots of turds yesterday. Carrie says, all my picks did not hit. Very upset. Yeah. It was go to bed early night for me last night. Just like, fuck it. Just go to bed. Usually I like staying up to watch the last game if I have a player in there or whatever. You know, but sometimes if shit's not going right, it's just like, you know what? Let's just get a head start on tomorrow. Brandon Ingram at home with his assist today for sure. I do like his assist prop. Ingram and both Zion are in really good spots for their assist. And I wanted to play both of them in a slip. So I was looking at the correlation between the two over the last 5 home games. They've both gone over. There are games where they go over. They don't cannibalize each other. So it's good to know. If you want to play both of those in a slip, if Zion's assists are still at 5.5, that's also in play. Ruben did really well yesterday. Ruben, if you guys aren't in the Discord, Ruben plays on Hard Rock, so he plays on books. He has been on a roll. Ruben and Damian have been on fire the last week or so. Ruben called Lou Dort first quarter points yesterday, and he also was on Josh Hart's assist in the chat yesterday. Josh Hart had like 8 assists in the first quarter or something like that. Who is scoring for Atlanta, says Supa. Well, you would like to think DeJounte Murray could do a little bit of that, but outside of DeJounte Murray, you're going to have to get some production from Bojan. That's a really good question. That's a very good question. Jim the Judge says PJ Washington over blocks and steals at 1.5. I was on PJ Washington when he got to Dallas because his fantasy points were really low for the first few games. And then they've adjusted those. So they're no longer a good value. But when his fantasy points were at like 20 or something like that, I mean, he was getting half of those on blocks and steals. I'm like, he can rack that shit up, right? 3 steals and blocks in a game that's 9 points. If you have a 22.5 fantasy point prop, I mean, over a third of it is already completed. The guy gets you 8 points. That's 17. He gets you 5 boards. He's over. Bruce Pipinger, what's up? Good morning. Dame got you at 6.5 assists. Did he really only end with 1 assist? In full transparency, I took the under on Dame Lillard's threes on HOTSTREAK at 3.5. It was giving me pretty decent payout on that one. So I took the under on his threes. Oh, he finished with 6. So the comment I read earlier about the 1, like he needed 1 more. Okay. That's even worse. When a player hooks it like that, that's a shit feeling. Gilbert says Luka points over or under. I don't even know what they're at. Are they over 30? 33.5 against Golden State. Let's take a look at it. Shake and bake. Franz Wagner over 17.5 points. I did put him in my underdog slip, JR, but we can look at him. Why am I pulling up Luka again? Let's look at him on PrizePicks. So is that 6? That's 5. Ruben says I like Butler threes if he plays in a parlay since his odds are -200. TFG, ATM, Mikkel. You changed your name on us, man. What's up? Good morning, ATM. Mikkel over RA or Gafford over PR. Mikkel Bridges is still at 7.5 RA. We could take a look at that. Or Gafford over PR. Let's take a look at Mikkel Bridges. I believe he has pretty decent history. No. It was maybe Franz against the Brooklyn Nets had better history. Yeah, I think it was that. But let's take a look at Bridges over 7.5 assists. All right. Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to take these player props. We're going to head over to props.cash. We're going to use the resources there to break them all down. We're going to take a look at Jimmy Butler's points. We're going to take a look at Ingram's assists, PJ Washington, 1.5 blocks and steals, Luka's points, Franz points, and Mikkel Bridges RA. So we got all overs in this one. Don't be afraid to throw an under in there if you find the good value. Unders are 50% of your options. Unders hit more times than overs. Obviously, don't force an under in there, but don't be afraid to take an under either. Toronto and Detroit, nobody in that game. We have 2 players from the Brooklyn-Orlando game. We're going to first take a look at this Franz Wagner points prop sitting at 17.5. So let's start building this house here. All right, let's start building this case with solid bricks. No illusions, no illusion bricks. So looking at his last 10 games, we know that he has a 30% hit rate and he has a 20% hit rate in his last 5. His numbers against Brooklyn, however, are very good. 3 games this year, he's basically giving you 20 points in each game. Believe it or not, I really don't mind looking at these game logs because we know the positive regression is coming, right? 20 points per game on the season, 16 points per game over the last 10, 15 points over his last 5. Positive regression is coming. Good history against Brooklyn. Projected for 17.65 points. So he's projected for just a tick over that line. Take a look at the odds here. So FanDuel does like the over on this one, but not as much as DraftKings, not as much as Caesars. And then you have PointsBet and BetMGM that also like the over, but they're very comparable to FanDuel. Nonetheless, you're getting pretty unanimous odds across the board for the over here. This is a good spot for him. This is a good line for him. Anytime you see a player's game logs that are this bad, check out the season averages and just determine what that gap is. Sometimes a player plays over their head. They're playing over their season average, and that regression is due. Sometimes they're playing below their season average, and you know that bounce back is coming. I think this could be a spot for him that you want to take the over on 17.5 points. I think it looks pretty strong. Let's take a look at Mikal Bridges, 7.5 rebounds and assists. So when we take a look at his rebounds and assists over his last 10 games, he's averaging 8.6 and 8.8 in his last 5 against the Magic. This year, he has gone over in 2 out of 3 games. He is projected for 7.7. So you are getting positive projections. Although it is like by the slimmest of margin, it doesn't matter. An over is an over. FanDuel likes the over, but not as much as DraftKings or Caesars or BetMGM or PointsBet. All 4 books, all 5 books like the over. So you have good odds. You have good head-to-head matchup. You have good 5 and 10 game logs for this one. So this one looks strong for an over for Mikal Bridges. Were those the only 2 players in that game? I believe so. Who the hell else did we have? I forgot already. All right. Let's move on to Dallas and Golden State, so we can take a look at PJ Washington and Luka in the same game, and then we'll take a look at Jimmy Butler and Brandon Ingram. So let's knock out these 2 plays here for the Dallas and Golden State game. I hope this game is not a blowout. This kind of feels like a blowout, to be honest. 33.5 is what his line is over on PrizePicks. So let's make sure that we find the correct number. BetMGM has it at 33.5. You're getting -140 odds, but also -125 odds to the under, which is usually not that high to, the both sides. So I don't know if we see this one get bumped up or not, but it's possible we do. 2 out of 3 games he's gone over this line against Golden State, but just 1 game this season that wasn't over. Last 10 games, Luka's points have been incredibly strong. He's averaging 36 in these games, 70% hit rate. Over his last 5, he has an 80% hit rate. In games where the Mavericks win by 15, I just want to look at this in case this game does turn into a blowout. When they're whipping ass like this, Luka does play a part in these games, but you can see that the hit rate is not as high. When they win by 10, similar numbers, and when they just flat out win. So if this game ends up being a blowout, there's a good chance that Luka is a reason why, but there's also, we've seen games where the Mavericks handle business and Luka doesn't get you point prop, but he has a triple-double. Projected for 35 points today. So 35 points is a little higher than 33.5. Check out his odds. Again, -140 on BetMGM, but also -125 to the under. This one might be one that you probably maybe take the first half PRA if you want to go that route in the event this one does get out of hand. We can never project a blowout, but we can prepare for one. So obviously, if you think he goes over his full game props, it all starts in the first half. So he's going to have to get something going in the first half. In the event it does turn into a blowout, then he'll probably do a lot of that in the first half. So I feel like the first half is a higher win percentage, higher win probability than full game. 70% hit rate. I believe his first half PRA on PrizePicks is 27.5. So when we bring that down to 27.5, it is an 80% hit rate, and it is an 80% hit rate in his last 5 games. So you want to roll with his first half PRA, it's in a good spot. Let's take a look at PJ Washington's blocks and steals for the full game. .73 blocks and steals and blocks for PJ Washington. People in Boston say Washington. They say the ASH is ARSH. Warsh. It's really subtle, but it's there. It's pretty funny though. 4 out of 5 games he's gone over this. He's averaging 2 blocks and steals in those 5 games. 2.2 blocks and steals in his last 10. This is what I'm talking about. You get a good line on a fantasy score for PJ Washington. A third of those points are going to come from blocks and steals. Games played against the Golden State Warriors, you do have to go all the way back to his days as a Hornet. This is irrelevant. We don't care about this. 10 and 5 game logs look great. Odds look positive. They're headed in the right direction. BetMGM is giving you the best odds at -130. They're giving you the stronger favor for the over here. This one looks solid. Let's take a look at Jimmy Butler's points, sitting at 21.5 as the Miami Heat host the Denver Nuggets. Hopefully Jokic wasn't out at the horse tracks all night the night before. Hopefully he's well rested for this game. Like most players go to Miami and they're like going to strip clubs or hiring prostitutes on the beach or some shit like that. And he's just like hanging out with horses the night before. All right. What am I looking at? 6.5. Oh, I pull up the wrong Nicola. I'm like 6.5 points. Take the over on that now. I meant to pull up Jimmy Butler. I got sidetracked with the Jokic shit talking. All right, 21.5 points. That got off track real fast. -120 to the under, -106 to the over. Jimmy Butler today is projected for 23 points. FanDuel likes the under. DraftKings likes the under. Caesars likes the under. All these books like the under except for PointsBet, and they're giving you even odds, but the majority of the juice is on the under. You can look at these as coin flips because you are getting some juice to the over, just more of it to the under. Let's go ahead and figure out a way we can build a case for this one, because at home, Jimmy Butler is giving you 24 points in his last 10, 25 in his last 5 for an 80% hit rate and a 60% hit rate. Numbers against the Denver Nuggets. These are all NBA final games. We know playoff Jimmy is a bit different than regular season Jimmy, but those are the game logs. One game this year they've played, he gave you 21, so he hooked it. He very well could have gone over that game line. I don't know if his point prop in that game was 20.5. Probably not, but he's close. This one to me would be worth taking the over on, or just stay away from it. But it's Jimmy and he's at home and he plays well at home and it's a good matchup for him. In terms of just the competition. And he has solid projections at 23. Brandon Ingram, last play on this block of player props. Let's head over to New Orleans Cleveland game. We're going to take a look at his assists today. Sitting at 5.5, he is projected for 6.48. Let's take a look at his 2 games against Cleveland. 1 game this season, he got 6 assists. In his last 10 games, Ingram has a 70% hit rate, averaging 7 roughly assists per game. Over his last 5, he's giving you 6. Now, if you want to check out what he's doing at home, we can. He has a 100% hit rate over his last 5 games at home, averaging 7.6 assists. He has an 80% hit rate at home going over this line in 8 out of those 10 games, averaging 7.4 assists. Any way you slice it, the game logs, the numbers look very good for Brandon Ingram. Let's check out the odds. FanDuel likes the over, as does DraftKings, as does Caesars, as does BetMGM and PointsBet. So not very often we see like minus 130 or more for all books with very little juice to the under. In fact, Caesars is the only book giving you a little drip of juice to the under. Aside from that, everything is pretty much green. This one looks very strong. This one's going to get bumped up to 6.5. Who do we leave out? Mikal Bridges. We should have looked up Mikal Bridges when we were looking up Luka and fucking PJ Washington. Real quick, let's look up Mikal Bridges. That's not the right game. Did we look up Mikal Bridges? Am I tripping? We just looked up Franz? Yeah, we looked up Mikal Bridges. We looked up his RA. Yeah. We're good. We're good. All right. Yeah, we're good. 6 up and 6 down. We like the over on Jimmy Butler because he's playing at home. He plays the Nuggets well. Brandon Ingram at home, that number is going to get bumped. You know it. PJ Washington is averaging 2 blocks and steals in his last 5 and 10 games. Luka over points. You could go Luka over points. You could also go Luka over first half PRA if you feel this game gets out of hand. Franz Wagner plays the Brooklyn Nets very well, due for some positive regression. And Mikal Bridges sitting in a nice spot at 7.5. Plays the Magic very well. So all these numbers look good. We just broke down 6 player props. I screenshot these. I throw them in the Discord. You can reference these anytime you want. They'll be available to you after live stream. Once I get an assistant to help me with this shit, they'll be available to you during the live stream. But right now, you can only do one thing at a time. All right, let's clear out this board. And let's start on the second player prop. Franz already at 18 points on underdog, says Jim. And you can't play him on PrizePicks, can you? Damn it. Jim, do you have access to any other pick'em sites in New York? JOCKMKT? Franz is at 18.5 on HOTSTREAK. If you adjust his line down to 17.5, it is a 1.6x payout, which is not bad. Right now on JOCKMKT, the discount right now is De'Aaron Fox over 26 points. Bumped down from 27.5 points. If you were looking at his number, at 27, you would love it at 26. Franz Wagner's points aren't even up on JOCKMKT. So that just shows you that line was probably in a really good spot. And now pick'em sites are going to start taking it away because they don't want people to play it anymore. All right, let's see. I like Butler 3 if he plays. Okay, Mikal over RA. Yep. Franz, all right. What's up, Damien? What's good on you? Check Vucevic over 10.5 first half points. Let's see. Take a look at that one. Ruben says that just locked in Butler's threes with Jovic points. Yeah. Kuminga over rebounds. I want to take a look at that. ATM wants to take a look at Kuminga over rebounds. Six and a half? Five. Okay. Got bumped from 4.5. If we look at this, is it DeJounte? Yeah, D Murray, right? DeJounte Murray, DeMarco Murray, over 25.5 points. My brain went to Jamal Murray at first. It's like, wait, that's not, his name doesn't start with a D. Siakam rebounds. We got two. Maurice, what's going on, man? Good morning. Welcome in. Siakam rebounds sitting at 7.5. Bumped down or bumped up to 7? Which direction? What's going on, True? Peace. What's up, man? Peace to you. Double plays came in last night. About to cook up as I listened to your breakdown. Yeah, doubles. Who'd you play? I'm curious. Throw them in the chat. Who was your double play yesterday? Divine. So none of my props, or I missed it. Yeah, you missed it, man. Jimmy Butler. We talked about Jimmy Butler for like 5 minutes. You missed it. We like the over on his points. All right, we got 4 player props on the board right now. We got Jokic over first half. Jokic. We got Vucevic over 10.5 first half points. Kuminga over his rebounds. DeJounte Murray. We'll take a look at his points. We'll take a look at Siakam's rebounds as well. 20 people on the stream. I thank you so much for being here. Hit the like button on your way in. It means a ton. Means a ton. Yeah, Divine, I only broke down one of your plays to make room for everybody else's, man. Let me scroll back up and let's see. You know what? Let's look at De'Aaron Fox's points, because it is at 26.5 on JOCKMKT, and it's 27.5 on PrizePicks. So if you like it on PrizePicks, play it on JOCKMKT at 26. If you want to double up your deposit, check out my stream description and use my code double up your deposit. And just play on JOCKMKT when they have these discounts. Just put a quick 2-man in there and start building some bankroll on there. But we'll take a look at his points at 27.5. All right, what else we got? We got 5 on the board. We got 5 on the board right now. Let me just double check a couple things. You know what else was a turd the other night that really had a terrible game, and we like talking about bounce back games, was Kyrie Irving taking the over on his rebounds. And I was looking at his rebounds and assists this morning. In fact, he was one of the props on my cheat sheet for PrizePicks, and it's been bumped up to 9. Going back to a player after they really had a bad game. I mean, look at Josh Hart yesterday. It was a great example of that. I'm just going to look at JOCKMKT real quick and see if there's anything that we can pull up. Or maybe HOTSTREAK. Am I the only one that plays on HOTSTREAK? Not in the world, but I mean, just on the stream, on the chat. Am I the only one that plays on HOTSTREAK? It's a pretty cool little site. Nothing really popping here. Jeremy Grant's threes, I put him in my underdog slip, but unfortunately, that is not on the board on PrizePicks. Let's look at his points against Atlanta. All right, so we got 6 player props on the board. We're going to take a look at Vooch, 10.5 first half points, Kuminga rebounds, DeJounte Murray points, rebounds for Siakam, points for De'Aaron Fox. But if we like it at 27, go play it on JOCKMKT at 26. And then Jeremy Grant at 18.5 points. All right, let's take these player props. Let's head on over to props.cash. And let's break them down. Round number 2. Here we go. Toronto, Detroit. No Detroit love today. No Cade love. No Ivy love. Siakam, right? Siakam rebounds. That's going to be our first player prop we look up. Rebounds are at 7 on PrizePicks. 7.5. 7.5 on FanDuel, DraftKings, Caesars, BetMGM, and all the books have it at 7.5. And they're giving you really, really strong odds for the over. But you're getting it at 7 on PrizePicks. Let's quickly break this down so you can play it either way. Gone over 7 in 6 out of these 10 games. He gave you a hook and gave you 3 unders. Last 5, 3 overs, 1 hook, 1 under. Numbers against the Chicago Bulls this season. He does have 2 games, one as a Raptor, one as a Pacer. He has gone 1-1 in those 2 games. Odds would definitely be better when the line is adjusted to 7, but at 7.5, you can see how lopsided these odds are. You are getting nice projections. You are getting nice game logs for Siakam. Let's take a look at his numbers at home in those last 10 games. Were all these games as an Indiana Pacer? I think all these games were played as a Pacer. So as a Pacer, 3 for 5 in his last 5 at home. Overall, almost identical numbers. I like it at 7. Most people, most pick'em sites, most books have it at 7.5. So if you really like the over, then play it at 7. It looks like that might be the best line you can find for his rebounds. All right. Oh yeah, forgot about Vooch first half. 10.5 first half points for Vooch. Let's check it out. So no odds on this one for first half point props, but we can look at game logs. Game logs look strong over his last 5 games, 4 out of 5 games. Over his last 10 games, 9 out of his last 10 games. Now, versus Indiana, 1 game this year, way at the beginning of the year, got you 10. We can filter this to look at games on the road. Vooch has a 60% hit rate. He's giving you 11 points. Over his last 5 games, still 80% hit rate and 13 points. So home, away, really doesn't matter. He's putting up very consistent numbers. Now he is projected for 22 points today on a 19.5 point prop line. So if he gets you 22 game points, real like full game points, he needs 11 to go over first half. That's right in the middle. So those lines are pretty tight. That's, I mean, those are fair numbers. In terms of full game points, is it at 20.5 or is it 19.5? Because I'm seeing mixed numbers here. It's up to 20.5. So at 20.5, teams, books are really liking some unders, or at least favoring the under. But if he gets you 22 points against Indiana, he's going to have to get some of that done in the first half. In fact, when you take a look at his second half numbers, they're not as consistent, at least not over the last 5 games. Now, over his last 10 games, you are seeing a bit of consistency where he's giving you 60% hit rate, 10.7. So last 5 games, second half, not as strong, but over his last 10, he's doing all right in the first half. Yeah, that one is definitely worth taking a shot on and over. All right, Siakam, Vooch, done. Let's look at Jeremy Grant and DeJounte Murray, because who the hell is going to score for Atlanta? I think that was the question dropped in the chat. Who the hell is going to score for Atlanta? Let's figure this out. Murray, 25.5 points today versus the Portland Trailblazers. Road game. Flying out to the Pacific Northwest. Murray's favored to go over. At least on FanDuel he is. 4 out of his last 10. Just 2 out of his last 5. 1 game played versus Portland. That was around this time last season. He got you 40. He's projected for 27. New Orleans. Portland, middle of the road in a lot of these defensive numbers. So they're still giving up quite a few points per game. They're definitely not worse than the league. So FanDuel likes the over on this one. DraftKings does also. DraftKings, BetMGM, and PointsBet all have this at the same odds. Caesars is not too far behind. There is more juice to the over than it is under. You're just not getting like any sort of information that's giving you that, oh hell yeah, gotta get that number, gotta take that line. Peyton Pritchard goes over, quickly goes over, Van Vliet goes over, Amen Thompson goes over, SGA goes over, Conley goes over point prop. Jordan Goodwin twice, back to back. So nice he did it twice, and then Vasily Micic goes over. So in terms of just your starters, like quickly, Van Vliet, SGA, I mean, these are pretty solid numbers against Portland. You're getting some guys in there that are going over their point prop. So definitely worth taking a shot on him. I don't think this game blows out in either direction, to be honest with you. I think this stays close. Atlanta's really banged up, man. Let's take a look at Jeremy Grant's points. Now, the only reason I want to take a look at his points is because I can't take a look at his threes on PrizePicks because that line was never released. But on Underdog, it is on Underdog at a 0.9 payout. So they nerfed it a little bit, and I still put it in a slip. And that's why it's a 9x instead of a 10x slip. 1.5 3-point line for him. He's projected for the over on this one with minus 156 odds to the over. Projected for 1.86. So he's projected for roughly 2 3-pointers at home. What I talked about for Jeremy Grant in my YouTube short was he has a 70% hit rate at home. He's taking 17 shots at home. He's taking 5 3-pointers, and 2 of them he's making. So his percentages are strong. His shot volume is there. I do like his threes, but in terms of his overall points, his points are looking pretty good. 60% hit rate in his last 10 and 5 games at home. He's averaging 22 and 20 in those games. He is projected for just 16 points. So it's very possible for him to get 2 threes or 3 threes and not get you 20 points. That's very possible for him. But the matchup is great. Good matchup at home for him. I go with his 3-pointers first, maybe his points second. But you don't have to force those points in. I do like his threes the best. All right, Jeremy Grant done. DeJounte Murray done. Vooch done. Siakam done. Let's talk about De'Aaron Fox points because you're getting this at a nice line over on JOCKMKT at 26 points. So you can see in some books De'Aaron Fox has already been bumped up to 28.5. You're seeing it at 27 on PrizePicks. DraftKings likes it for the over. Caesars likes it for the over. BetMGM likes it for the over. All overs. If this is going to go over at 27, he needs 26 to get the 27, correct? Play it on JOCKMKT. For real. It's the best line you're going to find. If you need to play a De'Aaron Fox line, that's where you go first. Head-to-head games versus the Lakers, he's absolutely destroyed this team going all the way back to 2022. We typically don't want to go back that far, but this is just, you can't ignore it. Averaging 33 points against the Lakers. Doesn't even matter who's in that backcourt. He did it 3 years ago. He's doing it right now. Over his last 10 games, we've seen this number met or surpassed in 70% of these games. Over his last 5 games, he's giving you a 60% hit rate, averaging almost 30 in his last 5. He's only projected for 28. Who gives a shit? If you're playing it at 27.5 on PrizePicks, that's what he needs. If you're playing it at 26 on JOCKMKT, he gets the over. Doesn't matter. As long as it's over 27.5. I don't care if he scores 30 or 28. It's an over. You don't get bonus points for more points scored. But that one looks very solid. Either way, 27.5 or 26, but play it at 26. All right, last play we're going to talk about in this block of player props was Kuminga. Rebounds, sitting at 5. This one got bumped down. This one got bumped down because everybody was taking the under on it. FanDuel has it at -140, -130. -130 on DraftKings, BetMGM, and PointsBet, and -131 on Caesars. Every single book that we see here has it projected or has it going under. Look at all that juice. So now they bump it down and they force you to make a decision. Take the over at 5 or stay away from it. When we break this down and bring it down to 5, you can see that in his last 5 games, he only has 1 over. He has 1 push in his last 10 games. Last 5 games look really bad. Just a completely different game log when you look at the first 5 to last 5. Numbers against Dallas. 1 game this year, beginning of the year, he got you 9 boards. Does Curry being out have anything, or will it impact his numbers at all? Over his last 10 games without Curry, we only have a handful of games this season. So there you go. 1 push and 1 over. So no, Curry being out doesn't help. Doesn't really hurt. Just kind of stays the same. Take the over at 5, but it's just not getting a whole lot of juice. It's not, things aren't looking good for this prop. If you feel like that's just way too low, then absolutely do what your heart desires. As Dallas is giving up a ton of rebounds per game, so you do have that going for you. Maybe we see some numbers here versus power forwards. Numbers versus power forwards. The last handful of 10 power forwards that Dallas has faced, Stewart goes under. Martin, not a starter, but he goes under. Siakam doubles up his rebound prop. Jalen Smith, not a starter, but he is getting enough minutes. Batum goes over. Reed goes over. Siakam again. 9 for Mobley. You're seeing a lot of power forwards go way under their prop, but a lot of these guys they're not starters, okay? Kevin Durant doesn't go over. He's a starter. Royce O'Neal starting now. Mixed bag of results here. So honestly, I would just stay away from it at 5 because it's not like he's going over 5 a lot anyway. At 5.5, he needs 6. That was a definite under. But yeah, you can play the over at 5 because it's a flat number, but it will offer you push. All right, 6 up and 6 down. We talked about Vooch over points. Kuminga, you can't, like I said, take the over, but to me that has push on it. And then Murray over points. Like, who else? Who else is going to score for Atlanta? And I don't see this game blowing out. So he should get full run. Siakam over rebounds at 7 now that it's been bumped down, I believe. Fox is a great play. Please don't make me regret saying that. And then I'm going to redo this screenshot because what we saw for Jeremy Grant's points, I didn't really like, but I do like his threes. So it's possible he gets you 2-3 threes today and doesn't get you 20 points. That's very possible, or 19 points. All right. Let's see. Ruben says Kuminga first quarter assist has hit in 8 out of the last 10 games, needs only 1. Is that a play that's available on PrizePicks? It's not. First quarter props are a little harder to find. More pick'em sites are putting those out there, but like JOCKMKT has his first quarter points at 4.5. Maybe Underdog, like Underdog will have first quarter lines. But yeah, it looks like it's, oh, there it is on Underdog. Kuminga's assist at 0.5. 0.5 assists for Kuminga. First quarter. Let's see. VIT PRA under for, oh, the I'm looking at the first quarter. I was looking at his points earlier today because I had the same question. You know, who's stepping up for Atlanta? And then I just searched the Hawks and I saw his numbers up there. And you don't typically see his lines because he's not a starter, but now he is. And now he should have a bigger role without Saddiq Bey and Jalen Johnson being doubtful today. Six and a half. What's going on, Yee? Let's see, Divine, you want to take a look at AD's points? We're going to take a look at also, because we can't put it on the board right now, but we're going to take a look at that Kuminga assist at for his first quarter assist that you can play on Underdog at 0.5. We'll take a look at that one. He says I'm taking Vooch under, or Vit under 6.5 points. Jim says he's still recovering from the weekend with the Aaron Fox props. Man. Yeah. I almost forgot about that one. So we got to Murray's points. We got Kuminga's rebounds. Ruben, you're looking at his PRA. His PRA is not up on PrizePicks. This is why it helps if you play on multiple sites. So if you play on multiple sites, you don't always have to, worry if it's on PrizePicks or not. You just go find it wherever it is. On Underdog, his PRA is at 12.5. We'll take a look at that one too. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. PrizePicks will definitely hold out on us. Very, very much the case. Let's just go over to props.cash and check out a few of these props that we have up on the board. All right, so let's start with this VIT play. VEET. We're going to take a look at his points at 6.5. So 6.5 points seems like a very low number, but as I've learned through my experiences, these low numbers are low for a reason. And oftentimes they're not valuable. So when we see a low number like this, you have to understand that there are reasons behind it. When was the last time PrizePicks willingly gave you a prop that was a lock value, and they knew it? Sometimes they mess up and you find a discrepancy, but most times there's an angle there, right? So you got to be able to figure that out. Minutes equal gold in the NBA. So we take a look at his minutes over his last 5 games. He's averaging 14, but back-to-back games with 20 plus minutes. In 20 plus minutes, he's only averaging 4 shot attempts. He's only making 1 of them. So now let's take out Jalen Johnson. Let's take out Saddiq Bey. I don't believe we have a sample size for these guys being out. Let's take out just Jalen Johnson. So in games played without Jalen Johnson this season, he's giving you 3 points, 3 points, 4 points. I think his minutes will be fine. The thing with him is he's just not taking a lot of shots. So unless his shot volume increases, then he's not going to score 7 points because he's just not taking the shots. You have Bogdanovich still here. You have Murray. I honestly don't know who else is going to obviously they'll fill out the roster, and there are a lot of players that aren't available for the Atlanta Hawks. So that's worth taking a shot on. If you feel like that's a little too low, then you can take a look at his PRA. Now his PRA is a little bit stronger because he is contributing with rebounds and assists. So if he gets you 6 rebounds and assists in this game, he definitely has to get you 7 points to go over that PRA. So definitely worth taking a shot. 6.5 rebounds and assists is his line on Underdog. I feel like a lot of these props for him could be just sucker props that people will see and be like, I'm going to take the over on that one because it's very low. But yeah, that one could be a good find. Let's take a look at Kuminga's assists for the first quarter. So that one is available to you on Underdog. If you don't have access to Underdog in your state, then maybe look for it on a book. But we're getting this at 0.5, not 1.5. So we're getting it at 0.5. He has gone over this in 80% of his last 10 games. He's averaging 1 and 1. Games against Dallas, he got assists last game. He is projected for 3 assists. We don't need him to get 3 assists in the first quarter, but if he gets you 3 assists on the game, you would like to believe that one of those happens in the first quarter, since he's doing it so often. Those are always a little risky, but it does help when you have these game logs to back up what you're trying to play. So that one is good. Throw that in a 3-pick over on Underdog and chase a 6x. Yeah, that's another reason to play on Underdog. If you're not playing on Underdog, they offer 6x payout on 3 picks. PrizePicks, other pick'em sites only offer 5x. Just play the same plays that you want to play on PrizePicks on underdog and just make more money. Why not? Why not make more money? All right, so AD points sitting at 24. Why am I not picking the right option? 24.5 points for Anthony Davis. Let's find it. At 24.5, DraftKings likes the over along with BetMGM, while PointsBet has this at an even line, and Caesars is giving you a smidge to the over. Last 10 games have not been kind to AD. He's only gone over this in 4 out of those 10 games. 1 out of the last 5 games. And his head-to-head games with the Kings have not been good. 2 games this year. Recent game, what, a week ago? Got you 14 points. Projected for 24 points. Ooh. With AD, honestly, his fantasy points are always in play because his block shots are so strong. AD can have a down scoring night and go over fantasy points because he finishes the game with 5 blocks and steals, 20 points, 15 rebounds and assists. That's a hell of a good fantasy night. As long as his turnovers aren't high, I mean, that's like over 54 fantasy points. I would look to his fantasy points over his points alone, because if this game gets out of hand either way, he's not running full minutes. And he doesn't need to get you 40 points for the Lakers to win. Like, he can definitely get you 20, 21 points and have a triple double. Not that he gets a lot of triple doubles, but his points just aren't needed like in this high range every game. Fantasy points for Anthony Davis, I like. I don't even know what they are, but I would look at those before points. Unless you're going to find this at a lower line than 24. I wish we could look up fantasy points, but I might be looking at that when the fantasy points are dropped, unless they're already dropped, and they are. Let's see if we can find AD's fantasy points. Not yet. 41.5 PRA for Anthony Davis. Man, if he goes over PRA, he has to get you 25 points at least. Because the chances of him getting you 20 rebounds and assists, they're not high. So if he gets you 20 points, that means he has to get you 22 rebounds and assists. If he gets you 25 points, so basically, if you feel like he can get you over on PRA, then he has to get you the over on his points, because the rebounds and assists aren't going to be 30 every game. They're not 18, 19. For the most part, they're 14 to 16. So 16 plus 25 points is 41. He would need 26 points. So again, if you think fantasy, or if you think PRA is over for him, then go with his points also. But it's possible that he doesn't get over his points versus the Kings. I wish his fantasy score is up there, because his blocks and steals are always in play. 2.5 block shots for him today. Odds don't really like this one on FanDuel, but Caesars doesn't mind the over. BetMGM doesn't mind the over. He is projected for 2.1 blocks, but he's projected for 3.87 steals and blocks. Pull up Anthony Davis props on other pick'em sites and just shop around for the best line, because I don't think PrizePicks is offering you the best lines on Anthony Davis. Or maybe they are. But just shop around. I think there are places out there to offer you better lines. All right. He says, I hear you, man. PrizePicks traps. Yeah, they take plays away. They put them on the board, they take them away. Yeah, they do that a lot. Vine says, I'm thinking AD over points, LeBron over assists, a bonus under points. James over assist. 9 assists today. Let's just pull that up real quick. All right. So LeBron James over 8.5 assists. He's gone over this 70% of his last 10. He's averaging 10 assists. He's averaging 10 assists in his last 5 on an 80% hit rate. He is projected for... Wait a minute. Am I looking at the right? Okay, there we go. He's projected for 9 assists today. So he's projected for the over. His game logs look good against the Kings. Back-to-back games this season with the over. Odds don't like this as much. So here you go. You got a decision to make. You want to take the over on his number. You're basing it off of game logs. You're basing it off of numbers versus the Kings. If you're taking the under on this one, you're basing it off the odds that seem to like the under a bit more for LeBron James. Those are always the hardest props to take because you're getting conflicting information. But that is a nice little correlation, right? If you want to go over 80 points, then you go over LeBron assist. And then Sabonis stays under his 20.5 points. You can definitely put that in a nice little correlation stack. If you like the under on his points, then you will maybe play the over on De'Aaron Fox's points. And you're hoping that De'Aaron Fox, this is his game. And Sabonis kind of takes a back seat to that. That might not be a nice little stack for you. All right. Ladies and gentlemen, I think that's going to do it for today's stream. We went over... Actually, let's screenshot these. Let's screenshot these. Throwing these in the Discord. So if you have time, check them out in the Discord. If you need an extra play, if you need plays to help you with a slip, you'll have quite a few in the Discord to help you out with your slips, along with my cheat sheets, along with everybody else's contributions to the Discord. Everybody's sharing slips over there. Everybody's letting you know what they're playing 100% across the board. So ladies and gentlemen, if you made it this far, I appreciate you sticking around watching this stream. Go ahead and hit that like button, but definitely consider subbing up to the channel. We run live Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Fridays, and newly added Saturdays, taking Thursdays off. So tomorrow there will be no live stream, but we'll be back on Saturday to make up for that Thursday. And I think that's the schedule we're going to run with moving forward. That opens up a lot for me. allows me to get a lot done during the week. So everything's already been scheduled out in advance. So if you have your notifications turned on, then you don't have to do anything. You just wait. But go ahead and consider subbing up and hit those notifications so you don't miss the next stream. Like I mentioned, hit that like button on your way out. Consider sharing my channel with somebody you know. No matter what you're playing or where you're playing, hope all your player props respect the damn coin. We'll be back Friday. We'll be back Friday with another Player Prop Talk live stream. Go over some protected plays for Friday. Hopefully we have a lot of profit to talk about on Friday, but I wish you all the best of luck. We'll let the outro beat run a little bit longer. And until Friday's live stream, Chavez is out.